Baseball is dead.
Rest in peace.
No Joe today.
Oh,
no Joe. It's a Joe-less Wednesday episode for the highest paid podcaster in sports. Again, congratulations to Joe on his new deal. It is a new era of Baseball is Dead where we only have Joseph on Mondays. Dallas and I have talked. Hey, want your thoughts on this idea as well. Jake, you're familiar with the format. This offseason for what was known as Name Redacted is back to being Section 10. We had guests on the podcast, but it was less of like an interview and it was more of like you're just kind of on the show. Like you're a special guest co-host. I feel like we should be doing some of that with this show. I want to bring in analysts. I want to bring in former players. I want to bring in content creators. Anyone that you can think of that you think could hang in an overall baseball discussion. That's who I want to target for maybe the Thursday episode, maybe probably the Wednesday episode, I would say.
Wednesday's
Thursday's more of a go home.
Thursday's a wrap it up. We're putting a bow on this thing. We're kind of looking ahead to the next weekend series, but I think Wednesday is probably the best landing spot. And Jared and I, as you said, Jared, we've talked about this. I'm not going to say we've already got a laundry list.
Yeah.
There's a list of folks who are like, yo, yes, please. Mm-hmm. And is it only just once? Like, is this something that we can do? So there's vibes. The people are in. People are all in on this.
People are thirsty. People are thirsty to be a biddy. They want to get in the mix.
Little biddies.
Just let me know when the Tim Kurchin episode is. That's when I'm going to be very excited about the Tim Kurchin.
I already have a picture for the thumbnail for the episode with Tim Kurchin. And it is, I promise you have never seen, I have this picture. I think I've tweeted this picture. I've definitely sent it to Timmy, but you have never seen a human being wear a headset in a, like, you're looking at the picture, you're watching a headset kick the shit out of a human. Like the headset is just, it's off here. It looks fantastic, but Timmy would be a fantastic guest.
You know who I just thought of that would probably be miserable doing it, but it would be great because of it? Brett Anderson.
Well, I'm going to be honest. I don't know that Brett ever applied a filter that he would be able to speak in public with.
Well, we're not live, so I mean, I feel like Brett Anderson, it would be a beautiful roller coaster of emotions. I mean, there would be one emotion. It would just be like,
he would be shitting on absolutely everything.
Yeah,
everything.
That's what we want. That's what we want. I want the Jeff Passons of the world. I want the Brett Andersons of the world. I want the Josh Donaldsons. I want the fucking giraffe neck Marks. I want the Robbie Hydes. I want everybody. I want everyone that is a lover of baseball. If you think that you can hang and talk baseball with us for an hour plus, then you are eligible for a Wednesday guest spot. That's what I'm hoping to do with that guest spot.
I thought about having somebody on also that knows like next to nothing about Japanese. What's going on. And then, well, you don't have to not speak English to not know what the fuck's going on. Like I know a lot of people who speak English who have no idea what's going on. But get them, and like just explaining like this in-depth baseball topic, whatever we're talking about, and see how they can apply that to like real world or like, just getting their perspective. I've always thought and wondered like what that looks like. People who don't understand what you're talking about. The idea of bringing an alien, how would you explain how free agency went with Scott Boras to an alien who's like, okay, baseball, I understand what you're saying, but tell me more. Like how does this, how does this process in somebody's head?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I, over the last year, just brought in a bunch of professional wrestlers, but they're dudes that can hang in a baseball conversation.
Yeah. Shout out Graves.
Like we haven't had Big Cass, aka Big Bill from AEW, huge Yankee fan, huge baseball fan. I've been saving that one for when the Yankees are relevant. Fortunately, we're going to have to wait until next year, it looks like, to at least have a shot at that. But maybe we can get him in the mix to talk about the Juan Soto trade at the deadline. But today is a special day. It's almost like baseball is dead Christmas. It is the season predictions episode that we've been doing since the starting 9 days, but I feel like has become more of a thing in the baseball is dead era because you just never know who's going to get taken. I mean, there have been people taken for manager of the year that may not be alive anymore.
It happened one fucking time. One time.
Hey, if it happened once, it can happen again. That is how it works. It's not impossible. If it's happened before, precedent has been set. So you just never know what's going to happen on the season predictions episode of Baseball is Dead. Before we get into that, though, we did promise that we were going to react to Shohei Ohtani's statement, which we will get into. Also, before we do any of that, Jay, your thoughts when you hear that Wednesday will be treated as sort of a guest spot. Who are the first names that came to your mind? I know I stole Tim Kirchin from you. I know that was a name, but who else came to mind?
I think it's a fantastic idea. My brothers have been asking to come on the pod basically since we launched Starting Nine. So that could be a really special, maybe Saturday episode, you know?
Yeah.
But
we'll have them on for April 20th. April 20th special.
That's a beautiful one.
Yeah.
Very near and dear.
Yes.
I think it's a really good idea. And I have no doubt that we could fill years worth of Wednesday podcasts with extremely interesting people just inside the game of baseball. So that we're open to expanding beyond that, I think only makes it more dynamic. So I'm all in.
Yeah. So you just never know who you're going to get on Wednesday.
You want to hear your favorite motocross rider chop it up about shit that's going off on the diamond? Holler at him. Let's go.
Are you asking me?
No, I don't know. I don't know how much interaction you have with motocross, Jay.
Yeah, I was going to say minimal probably, but I'm sure this person's going to be very nice.
I didn't have you being a huge Ricky Carmichael guy, but
no, I'm an indoor cat.
I'm an indoor cat. Yeah. That's what I want it for, though. I want like just obviously the big names in baseball. I want them, but as well as like, you know, if Tony Hawk likes the fucking Cardinals, then like let's go.
Well, that's what I'm here for. I'm here for those comparisons, right? Like to hear like Ricky Carmichael, like, brother, I tell you, it's like trying to do a fucking Superman on a 250. Can you imagine that cross the finish line? It's got to be like a closer trying to throw 100. Like I just want to hear the comparisons.
Yeah.
Have LeBron on to talk Yankees.
He's part owner of the Red Sox.
And Red Sox, Yankees, Red Sox. What's become of them?
Yep.
How he feels about the AL East rivalry.
Sure. Jake, is there anyone that comes to mind for you when we have this wide open spot on Wednesdays now?
I would love to get LeBron to talk Sox. Yeah, I'd have to think about it, but I think it's a great idea. It's sort of like what we were doing with Johnny Gomes back in 2022.
Yeah.
I distinctly remember when Gomes came on, and I could totally tell that like he had written words down on paper before he came on and was like fully prepared, and it was just like, well, that was fucking useless. Why did I write anything down? Let's just talk shit.
God bless Johnny Gomes.
You know, not to be a complete homer, but like there are some interesting names even under the Underdog umbrella.
Yeah.
That you could potentially get on a cross. Like I used to work with the EP of the Gil Arenas show. We should get Gil on.
Ooh,
yeah.
Agent Zero.
Doesn't Underdog have Mace?
Mace be the lady. That Mace?
I think so. Yeah. Jay, can you confirm that?
I wonder what Mace is up to right now. It's an interesting time.
Yeah. I'm sure he's got plenty of podcast fodder. So that's going to be the plan. And we'll save Thursdays for the original Starting Nine lineup because I know that people were excited about that prospect. But yeah, it's kind of to take a page out of Kirk Minahan's book, who I taught how to podcast. He wouldn't be doing a podcast if it wasn't for me. So this is kind of like my collateral. It's like, all right, I taught you how to podcast, so now I will take your format of just like, well, we're going to throw someone on here and see if they sink or swim. So it's all full circle now.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thanks.
Mhm.
Thanks for that, Kirk.
Thank you, Kirk. Hashtag thank you, Kirk. But even if you love beer, Dallas, don't you know that there are some moments where you want to enjoy it without the alcohol? Like, have you ever wanted to just drink a Blue Moon while you're calling an A's game, but you can't have alcohol?
I've been there a time or two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now you can do that.
Just looking
You
to
can
watch.
do that.
Just looking to watch some baseball down.
You can do that now with Blue Moon's new non-alcoholic Belgian white Belgian style wheat brew.
What?
It's for when you want to drink. Yep. When you want to drink your favorite beer. Now you can do it without the alcohol. You're watching the Soakland A's getting waxed 18-2 on opening day, and you're like, man, I could use a Blue Moon right now, but unfortunately I'm the broadcaster for this team, and I can't go full Brockmeyer right now. But here I have a Blue Moon non-alcoholic beer that I can just be sucking on while we're getting sucked on out there. So that is shout out to Blue Moon for that. Are you excited for opening day, Dallas? You're on.
Fucking thrilled. You have no idea, dude. You have no you know what? Like, side note, I know we're talking shit here, but my daughters got up this morning, and I don't know that those little fucks even went to bed, but they got up this morning and we're like, Daddy, we going to Stockton for baseball tomorrow? So like they're putting it together, right? They're getting it. And I like when that happens, man, I think as a parent, and Jay, hey, you just experienced this getting up, watching fucking baseball with that, like it just makes you feel something that you've never felt. You didn't know you had room in your heart to feel things like that. So it's really fucking awesome.
There you go. It's a wholesome moment that I'm sure you were waiting a long time for. You know, all parents can relate when they're waiting for the day where their daughter says, Daddy, can I go to Stockton? That's just a moment that we've all been waiting for. Inspired by the beer you already love and available year-round, a Belgian white Belgian style wheat brew tastes like drinking, even if it's not. Crafted with Valencia orange peel and coriander, it tastes balanced and refreshing. Nothing compares to the great taste of a Blue Moon non-alcoholic Belgian white Belgian style wheat brew. Blue Moon made brighter. Get Blue Moon non-alcoholic Belgian white Belgian style wheat brew by getting this delivered to you. Get.bluemoonbeer.com/Jared for delivery options. That is get.bluemoonbeer.com/Jared. Blue Moon, made brighter. Celebrate responsibly. Blue Moon Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Non-alcoholic malt beverage, contains less than 0.5% alcohol per volume. Jay Hay will be in the house tomorrow for the day-long opening day stream. We will be going live at 3 p.m. Is it 3? Is it 1? What the fuck time are we going live, Jake?
3 p.m. We'll
3
blast
p.m.
it out on social
There
later
you go.
today.
We're going to be going live from the YouTube channel at 3 p.m. We'll be streaming for all the opening day games. If technology allows for it, and if Dallas has the availability, we will have Dallas be kind of like zooming in to maybe what time do you usually get to like bat? Do you go on the field for batting practice and all that, Dallas?
Yes.
All right. Yeah. Do you have the bandwidth to be able to join us for a little bit on the stream?
I don't think that I have any crazy responsibilities tomorrow, so I think that's probably something we could do. I mean, remember, I'm a night game. I'm a night game on the West Coast.
Same.
So I'll be here.
You've got all fucking day. You got all day to. I mean, no jokes aside, Dallas has one of the most difficult jobs in the world. Like, he's got to memorize a roster of players where it's like, who the fuck is that guy? Like, it's spring training, but it's the regular season. So it's all due respect to Dallas Braden working one of the most difficult jobs in broadcasting for the sport of baseball.
It's just a lot of fun because I get to see a lot of different talent. That's how I look at it.
That's why coming up with crafty nicknames for these people is so key, that you can remember them.
They create themselves, Jay Hay. You know, I just let the game come to me, and those nicknames just kind of unearth.
Oh, we're
themselves.
talking about your nickname? Oh, no, I was talking about the ones I've come up with that you should start using, like ASAP. But yeah, so we'll talk about that later.
Yeah. Yep. There's just looking at. I mean, I recognize most of these names.
You bet your ass you do.
Yeah, there's recognizable names on this Oakland A's roster. Like you guys could win 50.
Buddy, we're going to win more than 50 games.
You think so?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
60?
I got us tentatively at a plus 12 to 15 turnaround.
Wow.
Can I pose the question differently?
Mm-hmm.
How many teams will you be better than in Major League Baseball?
Yeah.
Ooh.
AL, NL, but like combined.
Well, let's see. We were better than 2 last year.
Did it end up being 2? That's amazing.
Crazy. That's insulting.
Amazing.
Yeah. Who had a worse record than the A's last year?
Royals and not the White Sox.
No, buddy. Hold up. Flag.
No, buddy.
Did the Royals?
Flag. No, you were the worst. There was that brief stretch there where, like, I know that we were like laughing because it was like, oh, the Royals are worse. That was like 2 days. That must be seared into your brain.
Flag on the play.
Yeah, no, the A's went 50 and 112 last year. The next worst team was the Royals at 56 and 106. So a 6-game gap.
Yeah.
And then you had the Rock Show at 59 and 103. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you finish 6 games back of first place, you can't even really say that you were in contention towards the end of the season. So you weren't even in contention for not being the worst.
So back to the question: how many teams will the A's finish better than?
Yeah. I'm you know, and now I'm a little hesitant to say, you know, I think I still need to let the rest of spring training play out before I.
Oh God.
Fangraphs has the A's winning 70 games this year.
As I'm telling you, I've got them at a plus 12 to 15 turnaround. All right. So that's anywhere from 60 to 65 games, roughly 62.
So you're taking the under on their win total then.
I mean, if I'm being honest, which I've been nothing but.
Yep.
I would love to have Ross Stripling and Alex Wood bottle up whatever they might have had a couple years ago, especially when Alex Wood was helping the Giants on the way to their 107 win season.
Sure.
I would love to think that those guys are going to be able to stay afloat and serve the role that I want them to see or that I want them to fulfill.
Mm-hmm.
Whether or not that happens, whether or not that remains true, don't know. I feel like there's going to be some more competitive at bats throughout the lineup. Whether that remains or whether that's the truth or not remains to be seen. But yeah, that's how I feel right now at this point. Still some time, Jared. Let me get through spring training.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely names on this team. There's
Absolutely.
definitely names. Yeah,
there are as many names on this team as there is on every other team.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
26 of them.
Paulie punched myself.
Yep. Sears and Roebuck.
Yep.
JP
Lulu Boyle.
I don't know how they pulled this off. They have the Miguel Andujar.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, Miguel Andujar having surgery after hitting the absolute piss out of the baseball all fucking spring. All spring. Andujar just raked.
But
when he gets back, he can be, you can put you in the conversation if you want to look at Trout.
You talking about Miggy the Mangler?
Segment.
Is that who you're talking about, Jay?
Mike Trout trade.
You talking about Miggy the Mangler?
Yeah. Miggy the Mangler.
That's right. Yeah. That's who you're talking about.
That could be a segment in itself. It's like, bet you didn't know this guy was on the A's. Miguel Andujar did not know he was on the A's. JD Davis is more recent, so we know that, but it's kind of just like, wait, what? JD Davis on the A's? Abraham Toro.
Yeah. Bet
you didn't know he was on the A's. Alex Wood, only because he's a friend of the show, but still, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, Alex Wood's on the A's? Bet you didn't know Sean Newcomb was on the A's.
Nuke also hurt.
Sean Newcomb's on the A's. Ross Stripling?
Yep.
I didn't know that until this morning. I mean, don't sleep on these A's. They could win 55.
It's going to be more than that. Care to place a wager, Jared? You set the over-under at 55. They win 56 games. What are you doing? I want a Lawrence Butler jersey.
Listen, who the fuck?
Done deal.
No.
Done deal.
I didn't say they were going to win.
You just set the over. You set the over at 55.
I didn't set the over. I said the over was 70.
Plus 12 to plus 15. Fangraph said 70. You said you didn't have him over 55. So we put a Lawrence Butler jersey on the line.
I didn't say 55. No. I just said, this team could win 55 games.
And so I'm saying they're winning more than that. You felt
60.
like they can't win more than that.
60 is the line. They have to win 60
you
games.
drew the line at 55. You
60.
drew the line at 55.
No, I didn't.
55.
61.
Kelly Green, Law. I want zone 4 on the back of that jersey, please. I want Lawrence
60,
Butler.
60 is the line. Fangraphs has them winning 70 games. I said the line is 60.
No, you said 55.
You don't have confidence in your team.
Jake heard it.
Wait until this gets into the
world
clubhouse. They're going to be like, wow, Dallas doesn't believe in us. He doesn't even think we can win 60 games this year. He thinks we're going to roll out of bed with 100 L's.
They know the facts. They know the facts. You know what's great?
Do you mind?
They continue. Just the audience grows. More and more listeners. They know. These boys know. They know who goes to bat for them every fucking day.
I mean, listen, I go to bat for the A's probably more than you do at this point.
That's hard to do.
Also, congratulations to Jake. Had both of his podcasts debut at #1. Shout out to Jake. Baseball is Dead, #1 at the debut. Section 10, #1 at the debut. Only person who can say that. The best producer in the game. Got his deal signed. Shout out to Underdog for making it all happen. Very excited to be here. Very excited to have both shows just ripping and roaring, ready to go for the first time ever. Baseball is Dead and Section 10 side by side, just causing chaos on the charts.
Jake and I decided to celebrate by wearing the same sweatshirt today.
Yeah.
Just wanted to show.
Jake supports the A's too. We all do. No one here doesn't support the A's.
I feel like Justin Havens has found a comfortable place just outside of the shade, throwing shade directly towards the green and gold.
Wow.
If anything, I'm doing the most for the A's of anybody on this podcast.
I was just fucking Jay
with the nickname work. Yeah. I'll just leave it at that. Very pro A's. I attended a game a couple of years ago, 6 years ago. Support the local economy. I think I'm doing my part. Yep.
Jay and I have been to the Coliseum together.
That's right. Saw a no-hitter.
Yeah, saw a no-hitter. We ate some barbecued rat, whatever the fuck that meat was.
I came to the Coliseum and there was a no-hitter. So, like, what else am I supposed to be doing for the A's?
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you for your service.
Trauma and I was never that good again. Facts. No offense.
Where is he now? The Mets?
Yeah.
No. The Mets?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Congrats to Shohei. Would you like to react to this Shohei Ohtani statement?
Yeah. I mean, is there much of a reaction?
I think the only reaction here is that if you're going out and saying, I did not bet on baseball, I didn't place any bets, and Ipe stole the money. Now, like, I'm not saying that there's a 100% chance that he's telling the truth, but it just seems like it would be very much ill-advised to be making that type of statement, a declarative statement like that, publicly, and putting yourself in the line of some real legal trouble if you're lying.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just, it's not that we haven't seen baseball players stand up in front of Congress and lie before. This wasn't Congress, but I mean, it's a public statement. And if he is lying, it would be really dumb to do so, because it seems like this is I don't want to say a super easy, but it seems like a relatively easy thing to fact check once the FBI is involved, which they are.
Well, that's where, again, that's where I think a lot of people's heads go. And this is where, let me, like, if I have to say it again, I'll say it again. There might be one other dude on the planet who doesn't want to see Ohtani get absolutely crucified, who doesn't want any of this to be real. I don't want any of this to even be happening and going on right now, let alone around Ohtani, because of what he means to our game, what he will mean to our game in the future, what he'll mean to it in future generations. Like, this is the last thing we want to see. But again, our job is to try to be as objective as possible, try to look at this from as many angles as possible. And so I think when you're waiting for answers and you're waiting for confirmation to some of the questions that you have, you can lose sight, again, as a fan, that there is a investigation going on. And there is now a federal entity involved in this investigation. And so the things that you want answers to, the things that you want to hear him say, you're probably not going to hear those things. So, in my opinion, my initial reaction, because I waited, we had the game to call. I called the game. I didn't want to watch anything beforehand because I knew my mind was just going to be racing. So I didn't even want to open myself up to that. So I waited until after the game the other day to watch his statement. And I watched it in the hotel, and I was just like, my initial thought was, there's no way. There's no way that this dude who has charted out his entire existence within the baseball world from the time he was conceivably able to, there's no way this dude put himself in this situation. There's just no way. That was my initial thought. But then again, when we ask, have they come out and definitively declared by filing a police report that they believe it's Ippei? Like, have those things happened? And from what we understand, when the representatives for Ohtani were pressed for those answers, they got nothing back. They didn't get an answer. So you might say, well, isn't that sort of an admission of guilt by omission? Isn't that how that works? They don't want to say anything, so they're probably hiding something. It's easy to fall back on there's still an investigation going on. So what would you want them to say? So it all kind of felt like a whole lot of words to really not say much at all. And I was really, really, really taken aback by as you said, Jared, like, I was robbed. This was like, because you can't say that, because if you say that and it happens to be something else, well, now what does Ippei have on his hands? A massive, massive defamation lawsuit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Massive. So whatever you think, if you think Ohtani is paying this guy to take the fall and go away and blah, 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 well, there's probably a solid chance that what he would be able to fetch in a defamation lawsuit would be far more than what Ohtani would be breaking him off for. So, and again, like when people are, oh, how does he get access to this? Do you understand what it's like for somebody to come over to another country and have no direct tie or knowledge to how the world works here? So having access to all of the login codes, right? And now let's take it a step further. He's a Japanese translator. So if you're speaking to somebody at a banking institution that doesn't have a ton of experience in dealing with Japanese translation and you're Ippei, you get to serve as the English translator. So you're Ippei, and then you get to do this. Oh, you want to talk to Ohtani? Hold on. How's it going? Now I'm Ohtani. You have that. You're that dude for him. You're an extension of him. So you have access to absolutely everything. And if you are nefarious, if you are a shady character, like Ippei is sort of building up to be at this point with all of these lies and deceit, then you mean to tell me that dude isn't saving a login? You mean to tell me that dude doesn't know a password? You mean to tell me he's not smart enough to route all of the conversations and information and funnel it to him so he can filter it and then send it back out so it benefits him? Kind of like we did with the statements while Ohtani was like, hold on, what's going on?
Didn't I see another interpreter come out and say, like, in my line of work, like that is all stuff that we handle. Like we handle their banking and we handle, yeah, like that's like it's like we're not just their interpreter, we're their personal assistant.
Dude, it's like when we were over in Japan, when I went over in 2008 and played your Red Sox, Jared, we had a translator take us around. And like, I legit, like within that 3-hour window, 4-hour window, my brain turned completely off from trying to figure out or trying to communicate, or it was going to be an impossibility, right? I can't read the language. First of all, I can't read artwork. It's fucking beautiful, but I don't understand it. So I need help. I don't, nothing. Every bit, like the money exchange, right? I'm handing them dollars or I'm handing them paper bills. Bro, they could have gave me a fucking 50-cent piece back. And I'd be like, sounds great. Looks good. And now think about scale and relativity. Ohtani's $4.5 million over this period of time taken out, at different periods. And that could be stuff that he's unaware of. And it's because Ipe has the opportunity to direct information. He has the opportunity to cover stuff up, keep stuff out of the forefront for Ohtani. And when you're somebody who's so trusting and so dependent on somebody like that in what you're doing, you do leave yourself vulnerable for something like this to happen. That's the nature of this beast. And you heard Dave Roberts now talk about how the removal of Ipe, he hopes, can now start to maybe bring the group together even more because it eliminates that buffer. It eliminates that middleman. Because look, at times, and guys that speak Spanish talk about this all the time. Latin guys talk about this all the time. Like at times when shit's just starting to move too fast or it's getting a little too aggressive, guys will just start to tone it down a little. Like, maybe I don't know as much English because I don't want to deal with this today. So I don't like the PR stuff. And so that's who Ipe has been. He's been that buffer, that middleman this entire time, but it's in every area of life. And that's something that I don't think the layman fan, the regular fan, the casual fan is like, oh, it's to that extent. Like this dude isn't just back and forth saying words. Like this dude's filling out banking information. Think about when you go to Canada, right? Who's filling this stuff out?
I think it was pretty clear that there was a misunderstanding of how involved Ipe was because everyone was kind of looking at it as, how does he have access to his bank accounts? Like, that's crazy. It's like, is it though? Like, not after hearing other interpreters talk about their roles with other foreign-born players, it's like, well, no, that's kind of seems like commonplace.
And I told this story on the last podcast, but the way that the only way I was going to find out and catch the people who were stealing from me was I realized, you know what? I'm just going to take this card and I will not use this card. And now I can track every transaction on this card. And so what do? You give a fool enough rope and you let them hang themselves. And that's exactly what I did. So I followed because while I'm gone and away and things are happening at the house, things are like I'm having work done at the house. I've got somebody there to kind of facilitate that, right? I've got to trust this individual because they're going to be making decisions and signing off on shit that I'm not there for. So there's a level of trust that has to exist. And if you're somebody who's spending 365 days a year with this individual in a foreign land and you're helping them get along through life, you're probably somebody they trust. You probably have access to a lot of things that other people might not give to other people just because you don't need to. Like, why doesn't your aunt have access to your banking information? Because she doesn't need it. But the guy who's translating the literal spoken word of the land he's living in, that guy would probably need some information.
Jay, what was your take or your read on the Shohei Ohtani statement?
Line in the sand has been drawn. He said that basically a crime has been committed against him. He made the distinction that it was him and not me. He said he has never gambled. He said that he has never bet on sports. So I am sure that a conclusion will be reached to some degree eventually, but any ambiguity as to who is to blame from his perspective was removed yesterday. So that's what I took away from it. And I will now wait to see what else comes in the coming weeks and days and months and whatever.
Yep. Okay. So I feel like this is going to be one of those stories where we just kind of put a pin in it. And when we get more information, we'll react to it. I don't want to kind of like harp on it every single episode and talk about it over and over again. I think we've all made our points. We have explained our stances on it, and we will revisit it as soon as more information becomes available, because now it is time for the 2024 MLB season's predictions. And I can tell you right now, there's already been a little bit of competition in the group text where Shohei seems to think that all of his selections are correct. Unless he has all the same picks as me, I'm not sure how that can be true. I feel very, very, very confident in my selections. So,
and that's really cute.
I guess we'll just have to, yeah.
That's really cute.
That's what spring's for.
Because I read words and I know things too. So,
okay. All right. Should we start at the bottom of the awards and work our way up to MVP?
Yeah, that sounds fun.
We're going awards first.
Awards first.
Oh, okay. I'm going to be completely candid here. Comeback player of the years, like what pool are we pull? Like I found it difficult to identify.
I think NL is pretty much a slam dunk. You don't feel that way?
I mean, I know who I have.
All right. The National League Comeback Player of the Year. It's going to be Edwin Diaz. Come on. That is such an obvious pick. Shohei clearly doesn't have Edwin Diaz. Dallas seems surprised by the pick. But that's who it's going to be. I don't know.
It's a good pick.
It's a great pick.
I'm not hating.
Okay. Shohei, since you think that you have it correct, who do you have for National League Comeback Player of the Year?
I'm taking friend of the podcast, Rhys Hoskins.
Oh,
wow, that's a good pick.
Oh, wow.
It's a good pick.
Thank you.
It's a good pick.
I think if both of those people are healthy all season long, I think you're correct that Edwin Diaz is probably the better pick. But I'm a little bit more confident that we're going to get like 25 to 30 home runs out of Rhys Hoskins, and that pitching is obviously just a more fragile situation, and relief pitching's even more fragile as a division of pitching. So I'm kind of banking on the safer pick in some ways, but I see you on Edwin Diaz.
Okay. Dallas?
Why can't I go? Can I go O'Neal Cruz?
Yeah, you definitely can.
I would think. Yeah, I think so.
I don't know why you wouldn't. I'm not sure why you wouldn't.
Raise it for O'Neal Cruz. You're damn right. You're about to see multiple baseballs torched at 115 to 120 miles an hour. He might be knocking pirate ships down with his fucking laser beams. O'Neal Cruz, shake that wheel off, put some tread back on that baby, and let's roll. O'Neal Cruz.
It's a good pick. I think we all have great picks.
Yeah, that's a real strong start.
Yeah. That's a real strong start for no one having the same answer.
I'm comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I think the pool's pretty strong, too, for comeback players of the year if we're using the traditional definition.
Yeah.
Well, see, like that's...
I mean, you have one of the best relievers in baseball coming back from a season-ending injury. You have a perennial 25 to 35 home run first base DH corner guy coming back from a season-ending injury, and you have one of the most exciting, like, power speed guys in the middle of the infield, who's like, whose sample of career is like almost so small that like, what is he coming back from other than obviously the season-ending injury? So that's makes him eligible or whatever. But like,
well, that's why I was like,
it's a fun pool of candidates.
That's why I was like, O'Neal, like, it's not like he's been in the game for 10 years and had a horrible injury and is working his way back. It's been like, fuck, man, you've been pretty exciting to watch for like 10 minutes at a time. Like, can we get you the whole time? Can we get you forever?
In the American League, Comeback Player of the Year. The shortstop of the Boston Red Sox, Trevor Story. What is he coming back from? Don't know.
Being an ass.
He just hasn't played a lot of games. He hasn't been very good since he signed in Boston. I think in 2 seasons combined, he hasn't even played a full season of baseball games, but he will do that in 2024, and he will get back to his Colorado Rockies form where he was a Gold Glove caliber shortstop who had plenty of pop. Trevor Story, American League Comeback Player of the Year. Dallas?
I like it. I like it. I'm about to do something.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. See, this is where... Is Rodon an option?
Yeah, why wouldn't he be? He's coming back. You can come back from sucking.
I think it was a little more than sucking. I think there's some reasons why things...
Empire's back, baby!
I think there's some reasons why things didn't work out. Like, because I'll be honest, like initially I was thinking about, like, I wanted to throw Vlad out there. But Vlad, like, there's no...
No.
It was just because... I mean, part of the thought, though, Jay, was because he wasn't that good, or so I thought. But then I think, like, you look back at the numbers, so he wasn't Vlad who we fell in love with early, and I think we've kind of been waiting for that Vlad to come back around. So what did he hit last year, Vlad? 265 or some shit like that, right? Almost hit 30 bombs. So it's not like it was absent. It's not like he was MIA. It just wasn't maybe what you have expected or what you want to see out of a guy who we thought was going to be a perennial all-star, like perennial MVP contender. Mm-hmm. Is that fair? Which is why
I don't think he's eligible.
No.
In the spirit of the award. Coming back from being mediocre / below expectations is just not enough. Yeah.
Right. So that's why I go with Rodon. I'm going to go with the lefty. Give me the lefty, Carlos Rodon. Because if that dude can step in and fill in or just kind of be what they need him to be in the absence of Garrett Cole, that makes his candidacy, I think that makes the push all the more interesting to pay attention to, because he will quite literally be coming back from not being able to contribute and now will be contributing in one of the most necessary roles in the league as the starter for the New York Yankees.
Unfortunately. Shohei, American League Comeback Player of the Year.
So I think a lot of the best candidates are in the same division, and I think 2 of the most compelling candidates are on the same team. And I'm going to go to Detroit, and I'm going to go to the rotation, and I'm going to take former number 1 overall pick, Casey Mize.
That's a good pick.
Thank you.
The velo's up this spring, big time.
Chucking.
Yeah, and Jack Flaherty was also, I think, an option for this for similar reasons. His velo has been up in spring. Mize had a pretty successful spring training, not just with the quality of his stuff reportedly, but also results. 2.21 ERA over 20 1/3 with about a strikeout per. Will he ever be, your traditional number 1 overall pick in terms of what he produces? Maybe not, but I'm not sure they need him to be with Skubal there. And I think he's set for a nice bounce back. The question will be, what sort of quantity are we going to get? But he's starting in the rotation, so that's an encouraging sign for me. So I'm going to go Casey Mize.
Okay.
I like it.
All right. National League Manager of the Year.
No-brainer. It's a no-brainer.
It is a no-brainer.
Baseball season's underway.
It is a no-brainer, Dallas.
You think he's going to earn that paycheck, huh?
He's going to earn that paycheck.
That's such an easy call for you. That's lazy.
Hey,
that's
Dallas,
lazy.
Dallas. He has never won Manager of the Year. This would be his first. This would be his first.
That's lazy.
No, it's not.
Hey,
did I pick Bobby Cox? No. No, I did not.
No, but you know who you didn't pick?
Who?
You didn't pick the guy who's going to win it.
Nah, I think I did. Unfortunately for you, I think I did.
No,
because
it's
I knew
Marmol.
that you were. No, that's a fine pick, but the Cardinals aren't making the playoffs.
Yeah, they are, and we'll get to that.
They're not. We will get to that, but the pick of Craig Counsell, I knew was going to be met with resistance because it's like, oh, he's the highest paid manager. Cool. He's never won manager of the year. He's not a chalk pick.
No, yes, he is.
No,
Yes,
he's not.
he is.
He's not. He's not the manager of the best team. He's not the manager of like a team that's guaranteed to make the playoffs, and he's never won the award before. The only reason why it's like, oh, nice fucking original pick, it's because he made the most money. That's it.
Yeah, he's got all the pageantry surrounding him too. Leaves the Brewers, go to the Cubs, same division, and oh, they finally got a manager. Like people just absolutely burying David Ross.
Yeah, I don't love that.
David
I don't love
Ross.
that.
Yeah, I'm not.
I don't love that.
Fucking pump the brakes here. All right.
Yeah.
So, I think there's a lot of noise surrounding the move. Understandable.
Sure.
Chicago's
There's
looking
about to be even more noise when he wins manager of the year.
and it's just that's not happening because it's going to be given to Ollie Marmol. That's who's going to win the National League Manager of the Year. Why?
That's fine.
Because there's a ton of noise surrounding him and his emergence as a manager, right? Does he have the connectivity with the players? Is he calling guys out and doing shit that maybe he might want to think about twice doing early? Well, I feel like that water has flowed calmly and safely under the bridge. And so now we are at a point where Ollie Marmol and the rest of the Redbirds hit the ground running in 2024 and they take shit over.
Okay. Shohei, National League Manager of the Year, please.
So I think I think what's funny about this award is that the most compelling candidates in my mind are basically people who took each other's jobs and or went to a new job and vacated an old one. I think my top 4 candidates and the people that I was considering are Bob Melvin in San Francisco, Mike Shildt in San Diego, Craig Counsell in Chicago, and Pat Murphy in Milwaukee. Because I think both Milwaukee and San Diego have depressed in expectations enough, particularly Milwaukee, where they are going to be noticeably better than people think. That's a great recipe to win Manager of the Year. And I think the Giants are poised to be one of the teams that gains the most wins year over year relative to last season. How much of that will be Bob Melvin? I'm not sure, but managers tend to get credit for when you improve 8 to 10 games over the previous season, particularly when you were not there. And I think I'm with you on the Craig Counsell situation. I think that he is a meaningful upgrade on paper managerially from what David Ross was providing with bullpen management and in-game decisions. And I think the Cubs are at least as good of a bet to win that division as any other team. And in the end, play the music, Jared. I'm with you.
Yeah. Yeah, Shohei. Welcome to the right
Craig Counsell,
side,
baby. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to
We're going to
know.
the north side, baby.
It's a great pick.
All year long, boys. All year long.
Yeah, this is now this is now a point of conflict for us. I love it.
Hear the fucking Redbirds
Go, go, Cubs, go!
As long as we don't have to watch Shohei do whatever the fuck he's doing right now on TV.
I'm celebrating in the bleachers at Wrigley when Craig
That's what
Counsell
he's
wins
doing.
Manager of the Year. I'll be there by myself when they announce the award in
I'll
November.
be there with you. I'll be there.
Time is here again.
Dallas is just mad because he has a shitty pick. Like that's embarrassing.
I got the fucking best. That pick is going to. There's so much "told you so" dripping from the
there's
satchel of
There's
Marmol
really
right now. I can't wait for him
All
to
right.
drag that sack of "told you so"
Whatever,
right
dude.
over your fucking
Whatever,
faces.
dude.
How about I got a bet for us right off the
Yeah.
bat? That
Let's
was
do it.
here.
Yeah.
All right, Cruise
Love a
jersey.
good
A
bet.
jersey bet.
Yeah,
Okay.
go.
Oh,
Yeah. Or Jersey or whatever. Yeah, that's fine. Whatever we want it to be is
Jersey
fine.
bet.
But here's the bet. Okay. If Ollie Marmol wins NL Manager of the Year,
Mhm.
you win.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
If he fails to make it to the end of the season as manager, I win. Okay. And if it falls anywhere in between there, it's just a push.
So all I need is Ollie. He have a 2-year extension to finish the first year.
No. If you finish the first year, you don't lose. What I'm saying is that
no, that's
but
fine.
you don't necessarily win the bet. But you don't necessarily win the bet.
But you don't win, right?
Correct. He has to basically lose his job for me to win the bet, and he has to win the award for you to win.
There's two type of people in this world, Jay. Those who love to win and those who hate to fucking lose, pal. And I hate to fucking lose. And if you ain't winning, that means I ain't losing.
So you're in?
Yeah, fuck yeah. Let's go, Ollie.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's go, baby.
Mark it down. Mark it down.
Fly us to freedom, Ollie. Fly us to freedom.
Got our first jersey bet of the season.
Oh, that powder blue Goldie is going to look so fucking good on me.
That jersey is pretty sweet, to be honest with you.
Oh, God. They are some of the best going.
The American League Manager of the Year. I think you already know where I'm going with this.
I think I have an idea of where you're going with this.
Where do you think I'm going with this, Dallas?
Well, are you getting ready to play the national anthem?
Cowboy.
That's what I'm like.
No. Bad call. Bad call.
What an asshole.
No. Nope, has not won Manager of the Year since 1996. 1996. Bruce Bochy was the National League Manager of the Year. Has never won American League Manager of the Year. Coming off a chip World Series title. Be a nice little bit of icing on the cake for the comeback tour when Bruce Bochy wins Manager of the Year for the Texas Rangers in 2024.
That
is a
were
great
you drunk
pick.
When you made that pick?
No.
Had you been drinking?
Yeah, but not. That didn't impede my decision making.
You hammering those fucking Blue Moon lights, huh?
Yeah, I was drinking non-alcoholic Blue Moons. So yes, I was drinking, but no, it did not affect my decision making ability.
Yeah, well, that is absolutely the wrong selection. Because
you would say that.
Because what Scott Service and the Seattle Mariners are poised to do this year is probably going to plant him right at the top of that American League Manager of the Year list. Okay. Scott Service, the Surging Seamen, get themselves a Manager of the Year award.
I debated it. I had the name written down, but ultimately it was Boch.
Mariners are going to surprise a lot of folks in a lot of different ways.
Okay. Jay?
I'm going with AJ Hinch.
Wow.
Oh, you are really riding those Tigres.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't have a tiger sound effect. Yeah.
I think they are going to be extremely competitive in the AL Central. I know that by the looks of the standings, they finished second in the division last year. I think that overstates. Well, they finished 9 games back, first of all. Secondly, I think that overstates like how competitive they were in the actual AL Central for the course of the entire season. A lot of that surge was late when it didn't matter so much for their postseason odds or viability in the division. I think they're going to be one of the most improved teams in terms of like quality of play. They were outscored by 79 runs last season. I think they're going to be much closer to a true 500 team. And I think AJ Hinch is, I think he is a net plus as a manager. And I don't know how many I'm totally comfortable saying that about. And I think he will get credit in a muddled field. So I'm taking AJ Hinch.
It's a good pick.
Thanks.
We've only had one double up so far.
Yeah, you two
lazy a lot of parity in the picks.
Council.
Yep.
I mean, but the unsexiest awards are the ones we've covered, so we could be doubling up on some.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Could be getting sexy.
I would be very surprised if there isn't a double up on one of the Rookie of the Years.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're going to probably have a clean sweep.
We'll see.
I don't know that we are.
Okay. Looks like one of us doesn't watch baseball.
The National League Rookie of the Year Dallas, the floor is yours.
National League Rookie of the Year. National League Rookie of the Year. Where's my fucking...
He doesn't know who we picked.
What the fuck?
Prepare for somebody who's not a rookie, folks.
Wow.
I didn't
This is
have
very
my...
exciting.
Oh, I can start with the AL. I can start with the AL. That's where I'd like to
No,
start.
that's not what we're doing. We're starting with the National League Rookie of the Year.
I'm not ready for the National League Rookie of the Year yet.
Did you not make the pick?
Start with J. I fucking wrote it down, but I grabbed the wrong fucking paper.
How do you not remember? Anyways, Jay Hay.
Because it was at 3 in the morning.
The National League Rookie of the Year.
I'm not overthinking what I saw from 6 to 6:30 in the morning the other day. I am going to take Yoshinobu Yamamoto.
Wow.
I know taking a veteran from a foreign league is a little bit of a cheat, but they're clearly eligible for the award. I would not be surprised if him and Imanaga are 1-2 or 1-3 or something like that in the award. I think both are poised for really productive seasons. But I'm going to take Yamamoto. I think he's also getting Cy Young votes, so that would follow that he would win the NL Rookie of the Year.
I know who I picked.
Who'd you pick?
June Lee, grandson of the Wind.
Okay.
That's my Rookie of the Year pick. That is my National League Rookie of the Year pick. Talking about a dude who... Go ahead.
I want to put you on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
Why is the $325 million pitcher not winning NL Rookie of the Year?
Because I just don't like, because that, for me, because it's an easy pick, and I'm not talking shit when I say it's an easy pick. Like, I feel like
it is an easy pick.
Yeah,
for sure.
And so
he's the favorite. He's the betting favorite.
Yeah. And so I want to go with somebody. I want to think about, because I am in love with what the Giants have done. I am in love with what the Giants have done, and I want
Jung-Hoo Lee.
Yeah,
June Lee. June Lee is the ESPN.
No,
reporter.
I said. What did I say? I
said June Lee.
Well, I meant June Lee.
June Lee is a friend of mine. Great reporter. He's on Around the Horn a lot. Yeah. But Jung-Hoo Lee is who is you're thinking of.
Yeah, Hoo Lee. That's who's winning the National League Rookie of the Year. But yeah, like the reason I don't go the route that you went, Jay Hay, is just simply because I want him to matter. I want the acquisition of him to matter. And I want it to be so impactful that the Giants are in a conversation for October. And he's a big part of that because of what he's been able to provide at the top of the lineup.
Well, it seems really unlikely. I mean, it's a good pick. I'm just saying, like, it seems really unlikely that he's not a factor in the NL Rookie of the Year voting, right? Like, because he's signed to a $100 million deal. He's playing center field, correct? Am I wrong? Mm-hmm. That's correct, right? Mm-hmm. So, like, if he plays a competent center field, that's an easy path to 2 to 3 wins, like right there, if he's providing like a league average batter or whatever. So, no, I'm with you. I was just curious.
Yeah.
I was just curious.
Because I mean, there's nothing to say that, like, dude, fucking Yamamoto, like that guy, like, didn't you say it could very well start to garner MVP votes?
Oh no, I said if I said MVP, I meant Cy Young. I think he's getting Cy Young votes. So, Jared, who you got?
I'm gonna stick with the Milwaukee Brewers. Jackson Chourio is my pick for National League Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, what, not an AB over AA?
Yeah, I mean, once you pay a guy, you know he's gonna get the ABs. Yeah, I didn't want to go with Yamamoto. I wanted to, if it wasn't going to be Yamamoto as my one, then I wanted to go just outside of that. Jackson Chourio, basically my 2, but I didn't want to go Yamamoto. So that's my pick. I don't have any Brewers music, unfortunately. American League Rookie of the Year. I believe this is the one that Dallas implied we would all have the same answer. I don't believe that we will.
Yeah, I don't think we will either.
I don't think that we will. Dallas, you are obviously going Jackson Holiday here.
No, the reason it's going to be Wyatt Langford is because he is going to have a full season. He will have a full season worth of impact under his belt. And when you hear what Bruce Bochy said to him in his meeting, and just how Bochy's like, you're going to be here. You're going to matter. You're going to matter.
He hasn't had an OPS under 1,000 at like any level. He just fucking mashes everywhere he goes.
Yeah, like fucking high school to college to the big leagues. Like that's been the path. So again, for those of you who don't know, Jackson Holiday and myself go way back to his daddy's days with the Oakland A's when we were fishing buddies in the back of the team bus waiting to get back to the hotel. So I love everything that Jackson Holiday is going to bring to the table once he arrives at the feast in the big leagues. I just think that Wyatt Langford starting the season here and everything that we've seen up until this point, that's where I'm going to hang my hat in the AL.
I'm joining Dallas.
Come
Wyatt
you!
Langford is the pick
Come
for
you!
American League Rookie of the Year. Jay, hey, will you join us?
I mean, you guys make a compelling case. I got to see Wyatt Langford when I went to spring training. He had a fucking grand slam, and it was awesome.
You texted me about that. Langford Granny.
Yeah, I was pretty jazzed. It was the first game we got to see, and I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. Got to see one of the guys I was most excited to see hit a fucking granny. My pick is not so much anti-Wyatt Langford as it is. And can you give me that music again, please?
Cowboy.
Yeah, I'm going Evan Carter.
Oh! Wow!
I don't think there's any question that his upside is not quite what Wyatt Langford's appears to be. But what I'm a little bit more comfortable with is that we saw him for not a large sample, but a reasonably decent chunk of last season perform at an incredibly high level and do so in the pressure cooker of the postseason. Just to remind people, Evan Carter, between the regular season and the postseason, hit 303, 415, 574. That's a 989 OPS over 147 plate appearances. I really like either of those guys. I think this is a remarkably deep pool of candidates to pick from. Like, there are some really interesting Rookie of the Year candidates that I didn't even consider for 1 second because of how good the top 3 candidates are in particular and the guys that we've already named. But I'm going to go Evan Carter because, I think he's going to be in for a big season as well. Yeah.
I like that. Jay, and you know what? The Texas Rangers, and we're going to get into this when we start checking off these division winners and stuff, but the Texas Rangers are an interesting team offensively because of the veteran power and presence at the top of the lineup. But they've got some guys that I mean, they got 3 guys in that lineup who all collectively have just over a year worth of service time this year. And they're going to have to carry some water. They're going to have to do some work. And it's not to say that they can't. It's just interesting to look at because it's quite literally a third of their lineup with a year's worth of service time.
Yeah, I have some pretty serious concerns, quote unquote, about the defending champs that we can get into later. But they don't begin with Wyatt Langford and Evan Carter. I'm just as high as everybody else on those guys. Yeah, it's going to be very exciting to watch. They're the front of it, but this kind of next wave of Rangers talent take hold too.
Love that pick. I think we're going to get crucified when the social graphic comes out and nobody has Jackson Holiday. Because Jackson Holiday's, he's the sexy pick. And I feel like people are going to say you don't know ball, but that's fine.
Okay. All right. But just a quick aside here. Okay. Jackson Holiday is the number 1 prospect in baseball, regardless of publication, pretty much. Wyatt Langford is like 5th or 6th on every list. And if Wyatt Langford is going to start the season in the big leagues,
thank you.
And Jackson Holiday is not going to be up until whatever. Let's say he misses 3 weeks worth of baseball or a month worth of baseball.
You got to face some lefties, Jay.
If he misses a month of baseball, that is a meaningful amount of time as a deficit as it relates to Wyatt Langford's bulk contribution potential, that's not hating on Jackson Holiday. That's a mathematical thing. Right. If Jackson Holiday was starting with the team and was guaranteed a starting spot, or like quote unquote guaranteed to start the season, a guaranteed spot like Wyatt Langford was, I would probably pick Jackson Holiday instead of Evan Carter.
Yeah, like I'm gonna buy a fucking Jackson. Like I'm gonna buy a Jackson Holiday jersey. Like regardless of winning a bet against any one of you bums, I'm going to purchase that jersey on my own. I want the fucking dude to win Rookie of the Year. I want the dude to ball out. But I believe that what Wyatt Langford has ahead of him, and we see this all the time with rookies who come up in September, right? And what happens when they make a huge impact on a team in that fucking 30-day window? You're like, damn, it'd have been real tasty to have this dude for the whole role. That'd have been nice. And I got to believe that as the Orioles continue to contend and try to get back to and defend their division title, the involvement of Jackson Holiday is going to matter. He's going to be of impact to some extent. But as Jay alluded to, which we will get into, there's some question marks surrounding the world champs. And I think that Wyatt Langford has the opportunity to maybe answer some of those questions or help kind of calm some of the unease that might start to bubble up as the season gets rolling in Texas.
National League Cy Young Award winner. I believe I've done this in the past. I can't remember who it was. Maybe it was Walker Buehler. But I have informed my pick that he's my pick. This is an individual that I've never picked before. This is an individual that's never won the award before. I said, congratulations, you're my Cy Young pick on Wednesday. Make me look good. And he said, love that from you. So we're locked in over here.
I think I know.
Do you?
I could take a stab at it and feel reasonably decent based on what you just shared.
It's not Tyler Glasnow.
Oh, okay, then never mind. That's who I thought it was. So never mind.
Not Tyler Glasnow. It is Logan Webb of the San Francisco Giants.
The Webb Slanger.
He is my pick. Jared, for National League Cy Young.
That's a great call because he is quite literally pitching with the heart and soul of A's fans all over the world inside of him. And so I have every reason to believe we are going to see a spirited campaign this year from the Webb Slanger. Spirited. Yes. The only reason that I did not go with Logan Webb is because I felt like there very well could be some tussle there in voting. Should Blake Snell be able to continue to perform? Is there a vote taken? Or I don't know. We know how that goes. So I love the Logan Webb pick. That's a great pick. I believe that's a pick that will stand out. I don't know if it's going to be good enough to edge out Spencer Strider.
Wow. Wow.
Because that dude, he and his fucking gargantuan quads, Spencer Strider is looking to ratchet shit up just another notch, if you believe that it could be done. So the guy who led the league in punch-outs last year is back with a brand new weapon. Oh, are you fucking kidding? Are you kidding? He was dismantling big league hitters, just undressing people with high octane and a slider from hell. And now he's going to break out a curveball too. Look the fuck out. Spencer Strider will be your National League Cy Young Award winner. Spencer Strider, remember, is on pace to hit the 500 punch-out mark faster than anybody who's ever thrown baseballs for a living. Anybody. Spencer Strider, NL Cy Young.
Justin Havens, your National League Cy Young pick.
First, I want to congratulate you guys on really, really excellent picks.
Wow, thank you.
Because those were the two that I waffled on and that I debated on. And the question in the end seemed to be, is Spencer Strider going to get results to match his peripherals? Because a 3.86 ERA is not winning the Cy Young. If it was going to win the Cy Young, he would have won it last season. Going 20-5 with 281 strikeouts. So will his ERA match his FIP and all that sort of stuff? Or will Logan Webb's the way Logan Webb pitches really, really lean into the way that the Giants have constructed their roster, which we talked about a little bit last podcast. I ended up going with Logan Webb, so I'm aligning with Jared on this one.
Let's go.
No disrespect to Dallas. Logan Webb, highest ground ball rate among qualified pitchers in Major League Baseball last season, and the 13th highest batting average on balls in play overall. That mix suggests to me that he's going to, and there's more granular stuff that we could get into that I won't with an awards podcast, but I think he is primed to really, really benefit from the Chapman-Ahmed left side of the infield and the overall improved defense of the Giants in general. He was already an awesome pitcher before that, having garnered Cy Young votes multiple times in the past. He was 4th in ERA last year and 1st in innings pitched. And regardless of whether you look at FIP, xFIP, or xERA, he was one of the top 5 or 6 pitchers in the National League last season. And again, I think he's going to put together his best campaign. So I'm going with Logan Webb.
And Jay, the dude, I believe he's even with the astronomical ground ball rate. This is not a dude who is solely dependent on balls in play or weak balls in play for
not at all.
His pitch mix. Like he's dialing up, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe he's somewhere between 8 and 8.5 K per 9. So for a guy who has the highest ground ball rate in baseball, so you need weak contact, you need 2 outs with 1 pitch, he's your dude. But you also need somebody to be able to bear down and punch a guy out in a big spot. He has that. He has that gene in him as well. So I mean, it was either Strider or Logan Webb. I don't know that there was really another candidate for me that jumped off the page. So I'm really comfortable with our picks here.
Yeah, I believe Strider and Webb are 2 of the top 3 in terms of odds. Right now, I think Zach Wheeler is the other guy who gets thrown in with those 2 in terms of odds in the NL. But I just really like, for both of the picks, I mean, this applies to Strider too, like there's a track record of quantity as well as quantity too. So like you can't really predict, or at least we can't on this podcast predict pitcher health, and teams don't seem to be able to either yet. But Logan Webb has thrown 30 plus starts in back-to-back seasons entering this year. And Strider was obviously has been developing into a horse for quite some time. So I really like our picks.
We got great picks.
It's that fucking great pick energy.
Yeah. Now, the American League Cy Young Award winner. Another individual that I have never picked before, who I believe has never won the hardware. He was in another league. Maybe I forgot. No, he's never.
The fact that you have to look makes me interested now.
Yeah, no, he hasn't. I just want to make sure I didn't forget. 3-time All-Star though, for Dallas's Seattle Mariners. Luis Castillo.
Attaboy.
Is my
nice
pick for the American League Cy Young Award.
Attaboy.
Yes.
That makes 2 of us.
Okay, let's go.
All right.
That makes 2 of us. I was on the fence. It was Castillo or it was fucking Gossman. Just gonna split your whole fucking world in half. But yeah, I think Luis Castillo. What was your deciding factor? Were you, or I guess who was the debate with? Was it between Castillo and whom? And what was the deciding factor for you?
It was Castillo and Gossman.
Yep.
And it was because
that's what I have written. Fucking here.
Yeah, it was between Castillo and Gossman. I think I went Gossman last year, so I didn't want to do a repeat pick. The fact that Castillo threw almost 200 innings last year, the fact that he's going to be on a team that hopefully is in the playoffs, maybe a division winner. He made all of his starts last year. A low 3. He's got the strikeouts. He's got the low whip. I was just like, I haven't picked him before. He's never won it. Garrett Cole being down, I was like, it's kind of I don't want to say it's a wide open field, but it certainly changes the landscape.
There's a path. Path.
Yeah. So if I didn't want to double up on Gausman, which probably would have been, I didn't like that Gausman was the favorite. I was like, I think if Gausman were third or fourth in the odds, then I probably would have went Gausman. But the fact that he was the favorite pushed me more towards Castillo.
Yeah, Castillo. Look, I've always been in love with a changeup artist. He's got an absolutely disgusting one, but he's also kind of flipped the script on guys and his pitch usage, right? More fastballs. And so I think I am sort of hoping that we see maybe him take it to the next level and really start to mix shit up and create a level of unpredictability about the way he attacks hitters that could see him take off. Just to that next level. So that for me was part of the reasoning behind Luis Castillo.
Cool. Jay?
So I didn't pick him, but I do want to shout out a guy that you guys haven't specifically brought up yet. That was a guy that I strongly consider, which is Corbin Burns.
Yeah.
He's got all the makings of a Cy Young campaign. Very good team. Should have good run support. Go deep, relatively deep into games. Obviously, he's won the award and competed for the award before, but
can't give up a home run to left field.
From for the second time, I believe, we have selected a person on the same team, but not the actual same person. I'm going with George Kirby.
George Kirby, let's go, Jay Hay.
Wow.
So best strikeout to walk ratio in Major League Baseball last season. He finished 8th in the Cy last year, so there is, a taste for voters in terms of recognizing him for the award. That strikeout to walk rate was generated thanks in part to, or largely due to, the best walk rate of any qualified pitcher in baseball last year. He's got a very, very deep arsenal, basically 5 pitches deep that he relies on. You could actually say that he throws a 6th if you want to count his changeup. But either way, it's a deep arsenal. He's got a lot of success with a lot of different pitches. He already had a 3.35 ERA last season, which was 6th in the AL. And I think there was room for improvement moving forward. And even if, for all the hemming and the grief that he took about his ill-advised comments on coming out of the game, he threw 190 plus innings last year. He was tied for 7th in the AL in innings pitched last year. So there is that base of quantity as well that we were talking about before. So I don't know that he has the eye-popping performances that Luis Castillo necessarily has, and I think he's a great pick. But I think Kirby's command and control, I think, are setting him up for a Cy Young campaign, and he is my selection.
Yeah, I think Kirby only had like 1 or 2 outings, Jay Hay, last year where he punched out 10 or more.
Mm-hmm.
So like not a huge overwhelmer in that regard, but he just doesn't throw balls.
Yeah,
he just doesn't throw.
He doesn't.
Balls.
He doesn't go about it in the exact same way, but there's something to be said about, when we talked about Logan Webb and you guessed what his strikeout rate was per 9, and you said between 8 and 8.5, and the answer was 8.1. That's also what Kirby's was last year. So he's not the ground ball maestro that Logan Webb is, and I'm not saying he's going to lean into his defense I'm not picking them for the same reasons, but they're not necessarily the biggest swing and miss artists, the flashiest guys, but I also think Kirby is going to generate more swing and miss this year. I think that's going to be part of the reason he takes a step forward. And I also think you're getting 200 innings with close to 200 strikeouts. So George Kirby.
Good pick.
Good pick.
The National League most valuable player. There's some very strong candidates. There are some individuals that I feel like whoever wins the National League MVP is going to be a multi-time winner. I think whoever wins the National League MVP, because there are a bunch of candidates that I weighed and they all have at least one.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys feel differently.
I do feel differently, but not that I'm probably going to dispute any of your candidates, but that is not a qualification for who I selected. But go ahead.
The National League most valuable player is going to be Frederick Freeman.
Wow.
Of the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Can I ask you a question about that pick?
Yes, I have Mookie Betts written down and I changed it just now.
How is and I guess it applies a little bit to Mookie too, maybe a little bit less, but like if Freeman's not winning last year, how is he winning the award? Like, do you think he's better than he was last year? Do you think the field is going to play down and he's going to play to a similar level? Like, what's the path there?
I mean, I think it's more so just like the lineup. He's in a better lineup. He's in a great spot in said lineup. Shohei's just a DH, and I'm banking on Mookie's change to shortstop fucking up his offense.
It is fucking crazy that Freddie Freeman hit 59 doubles last year.
Yeah.
59.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Insanity.
Yeah. But I mean, he's finished 4th and 3rd in the last 2 years.
Yep.
And is almost always in the conversation. So.
Correct. Yeah. Maybe Mookie playing shortstop is a bad thing. And then Shohei's just a DH. He's not going to win.
So the two Dodgers guys were your final two.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny. Because the reason that Mookie is not my candidate is for the exact same reason. And isn't it weird how you can either look at Mookie Betts and think about his positional change as the reason he will win MVP, or it could be the reason that you think that he will not win MVP. So he either lives up to the ability to move around and shows the world that he ain't no fucking joke. This dude can do absolutely everything. Outfield, infield, bowling, check all the boxes. Run routes, he can dunk. He's your MVP of life. So we'll see how the defense affects his ability to do what he's been able to do offensively. And whether or not the Freddie Freeman and, talk about the votes and stealing and yada, yada, yada. Same thing could be said for my selection for the individual who will be the 2024 MVP. And that fella has also garnered MVP votes. He goes by the name of Matt Olson. That is going to be your 2024 MVP.
I mean, he's not even the most valuable player on his own team.
I don't care.
Well, he's not going to win the award.
No, you don't know that. We don't know that.
I do.
We don't know that. You're talking about a guy who led the fucking game in baseball.
Jersey bet. Jersey bet.
Who finishes higher in the MVP voting? Let's do that. Who finishes higher in the MVP voting?
All right. Freddie Freeman versus Matt Olson.
This is beautiful. That's a great bet.
Yes. Yes. Matty, oh, you son of a bitch. I'll fucking text him right now.
Yo, this dude hit 54 homers and drove in a $139 with a 993 OPS and finished 4th.
I know. Fucking criminal. Absolutely criminal.
No, it wasn't criminal. It was not criminal. That's the thing. It was not criminal.
Well, not when you got Acuna going fucking 40-70. I mean, what are you going to do? You can't do much about that.
Last year would have been a motherfucker of a year to have this bet going.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
Freddie finished 3rd and Olson finished 4th. Yeah, no, I like this bet. I like this bet.
But you know what? Like, didn't they? Well, let's think about this. Because it was Shohei, Mookie, and Freddie, right? Mm-hmm. Shohei wins it. Mookie and Freddie 1 and 2. So the Dodgers are running out. Their first 3 hitters are the 2 MVPs and the runner-up. But then who came behind Freddie?
Well, Shohei was in the American League.
No, that's what I'm saying. From last year. So last year you have this year. The Dodgers are running out the American League MVP award winner.
Uh-huh.
And then they had Mookie and Freddie, right?
Yep.
So like you think about all of those dudes. And
Pretty
where did Ole finish? He finished fourth?
Mhm.
Yeah, fourth. And then Ronnie, Acuna wins the fucking thing. So you got those 4 guys, top 4.
Yep. I love a good jersey bet. We got 2 of them. We got 2 of them in the season predictions episode. I'm jacked up for that.
That's what Matt.
Did you say yours, Jay?
I didn't yet.
Okay, please.
You guys took the people who finished 3rd and 4th in the MVP voting last year. I'm going to take the guy who finished 5th. I'm going Corbin Carroll.
Wow.
I think.
Okay.
Well, we're starting with a season last year where he had 25 homers and 54 stolen bases with an 868 OPS. I think we are going to get like another 40 to 50 points of OPS on this season. I think the homers and extra base hits are going up. I think he's still young enough and has contractual security to keep stealing, which is a nice thing. But it's less about the steals and more about the fact that Corbin Carroll was also the single best base runner in all of baseball last year, and it wasn't particularly close. You factor in his offensive game with how well-rounded he is in all phases of the game, and I'm extremely excited about what he's going to bring. He was 5th in FWAR last year in the NL. As I said, I think he's taking a step forward, and I think he's going to be the best statistical player in the NL when it's all said and done. Maybe not by OPS, but when you factor in the defense and the base running and stuff like that, I think he's going to be the best player in the NL this year.
Wow.
Corbin Carroll.
It's a good pick.
He's an interesting dude. Interesting guy. Had dinner with him this spring.
Did you?
Yeah.
Loves Ben Verlander. So you guys have that in common.
Oh, no. I wish I would have known that before I made the selection. That is troubling. I guess I'll ride with it because it's already on the record, but not a good start.
Fair.
Not a good start. I don't even know that I fucking got the chance to play this song. I have this team's home run song on the board, but I don't think we ever got the chance to play it. So I don't even know that I've heard it for the American League MVP pick. If I play it right now, I don't even know if you're going to be like, oh, wow, it's so-and-so. Let's see. I mean, the fans of this team probably are going to be like, oh, yeah, our guy. The American League MVP. What are you looking at me like that for, Dallas? You don't know where I'm going with this? I don't either.
You've never heard it?
No.
I'm going to Wichita.
I mean, I've heard this song, but do you know what team's home run song this is?
Is this the Royals?
Nope. Jay, hey, any guesses?
Sure, I'll guess that it's the Orioles.
It is the Orioles. Adley Rutschman is going to be your American League MVP this year.
Wow.
Adley Rutschman.
That is strong.
That's the pick. Yeah.
That is strong.
Winning the MVP at the catcher position is rare, but it's not impossible. It's happened before. Wins above replacement, loves Adley Rutschman. I think it's going to be another fun, great season for the Orioles. There's going to be more than one MVP candidate on their team, but I think if you were to pick the one guy who will emerge from that group as the guy, it's Adley Rutschman. It's my pick.
I love everything about the Orioles. I really do. I love everything that they've got going on. They could use a little help in the rotation right now. They're a little banged up. They could use a little help maybe in that bullpen with the fucking mountain of a man, Felix. But I think Adley's got a strong chance, Jared. A strong chance. Switch hitting, power catcher. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
He's the guy.
I like it.
Dallas, your pick?
I'm going to stay on the East Coast.
Okay.
I'm going to stay on the East Coast. And you know what they say.
What do they say?
An apple a day will bring Pei Soto's way. Is this the year we see Juan Soto? Is this the year that Juan Soto becomes a Yankee? Is this the year? I got Juan Soto going off. I got Juan Soto doing work to put the rest of the world on notice. It wasn't my fault in San Diego. You wanted to blame me for everything in San Diego. It wasn't my fault. What happened? What happened in D.C., huh? What happened when you let me cook in D.C.? I brought you a ring. So let me cook in New York. Let me do my thing. Let me put up these MVP numbers. And I'll see you in 2025 when you back that Brinks truck up. Juan Soto.
Okay. Jay?
Again, guys, really good picks. I feel like we're really grooving on this predictions episode.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Soto and Julio are, I think, the betting odds favorites. I like them. I can see worlds where either one wins the MVP. Yeah, they are. I can see worlds where either one wins MVP for sure. I wanted to go a little further down the ballot. And so my concern with a Soto MVP candidacy is primarily about the team around him. And if the Yankees win, I don't know, 80 games or 78 games or something like that and disappoint.
Yeah, he might finish the year in the National League, so it would mess with the MVP voting.
One guy I know know for sure is staying on the team that he's on right now.
Mm-hmm.
Was awesome last season. And I believe, while I don't think the team is going to be very good, I think the team is going to make a huge wins total improvement over last season. And that's the Kansas City Royals and Bobby Witt Jr.
Okay, all right.
I'm taking Bobby Witt Jr. to win the MVP. Let me break it down for you. You got time for a nug or two?
Please.
Yeah. Okay.
Let me get the mind right.
From June 11th to the end of the season last year. June 11th to the end of the season, so not a small sample. Bobby Witt hit 305, 352, 551. That's a 904 OPS with 20 homers and 29 stolen bases. So he didn't even need April and May to deliver you basically a 20-30 season. What were his ranks over that stretch in the AL? He was tied for first in wins above replacement. He was first in stolen bases. He was tied for eighth in homers, and he was sixth in OPS. And that's as a shortstop that's playing in the middle of the infield. He finished seventh in the MVP last season while posting an on-base percentage below 320. Okay? That's really hard to do. Yeah. And I think I think everything about his, the stretch that the sample that I cited just moments ago, I think everything about that was real. I think that's more likely to be the season that we get over a full sample. And in 2023 alone, with all the warts and everything like that, he was one of 9 players in ALNL. Sorry, he was the third player with a 30-40 season. Okay, by a shortstop ever 30-40 season. And he was one of 9 players in ALNL history to have 50 homers and 75 stolen bases through the age 23. So he is a very, very special talent. And both for contextual reasons, the Royals getting, 12, 15 games better than they were last season, and Bobby Witt Jr. sustaining the gains that he made over the final 4 months of the season, I'm taking him.
This dude loves the game of baseball. Loves the fucking game of baseball. I don't know that people needed to hear me tell you that. I think you can get a pretty good idea, but I always talk a lot about guys that I love to watch go about their business. I don't know that there are many more people that I enjoy watching move around on a baseball field and do baseball things than Bobby Witt Jr. And look, like I've gotten to know him a little bit off the field, and like it's baseball, man. Like the dude just wants to be great. He wants to win, and he cares so much about like being the best fucking teammate he can be, being as impactful in any area as he can be. So when I think MVP, I mean, how long have I been clamoring for that dude to get breaded up? I wanted him to get paid 10 minutes after he showed up to the big leagues, and they did it. And I love that this type of energy is being felt and being seen from other places. You've identified it, Jay Hay. You know your shit, but I want this dude to have a fucking incredible year.
And just one other thing, it was driving my 2 picks for MVP for sure, and it was obviously a huge part of Acuna's MVP win last year. But like, it is so refreshing to have so many young, particularly young talents in the game
Athletes.
that are, they're not either or. They're not
baseball players, Jay.
They're not very fast while hitting 8 homers.
They're ball players.
They're not 40 homers while being, kind of corner slugging guys, with all due respect. Like, I love the Freddie Freemans and the traditional Miguel Cabreras of the world. I like watching them hit just as much as everything else. But that so many of the young talents are multi-talented, home runs, stolen bases, base running that aren't stolen bases, defense, all that sort of stuff. It's extremely refreshing, and it makes you confident that the game, at least as far as the talent on the field, is in a really good place. And Bobby Witt and Corbin Carroll are great examples of that, but you could pick plenty of people that I didn't pick for awards to describe that as well. So,
well, I mean, it just like, I'll never forget. And it was Francisco Lindor, when we're talking about the shifting, right? This is a guy who at that time, like, how old is Lindor? 30, 32, somewhere around there. So, and I think like at the time when he said it, he's, late 20s. Like, let us be athletes. I want to watch guys range and make plays. And what does that mean? Like, translation, let me be a ball player. Let me play the fucking game of baseball, man. And it's okay to have those corner boppers, right? That we all kind of laugh and love because you know what you're going to get. And when you don't get it, you know what you're going to get. But you also like to have guys like Bobby Witt Jr. out there on the baseball field because he could hit 2 homers and he could steal 2 bags and he could hit a fucking triple and he could throw a guy out from conceivably shallow left field in the hole across the diamond. He could do all of that, all of those things, and then go first to third. Like, he could do it all. He could play the fucking game of baseball.
And listen, I love Lindor, and I love Lindor in his prime as much as probably anybody or most people. But like, he maxed out at 25 stolen bases. That was the highest he ever got, not including last year, but I'm talking about his prime when he was doing the whole power speed thing. Like, he was 30 last year, but like Witt damn near just gave us what, 30-50?
Yeah.
And I know that I know the base, like, I get it. It's a little bit different, but it's not. It's mostly not that. It's mostly that these guys are dynamic talents, and they also happen to be the faces of their franchise moving forward. So like, Lindor was almost one of the precursors to this sort of player in a way, but like, they have become noticeably more dynamic in just the 6 or 7 years since Francisco Lindor was at his supposed athletic prime.
And we don't need to get into the weeds here, but this is why those adjustments to the game were made. Were in hopes of spurring this, right? In hopes of creating this, bringing this aspect back to the game of baseball. Move this game along. Watch the offense get created. We're playing it with the calculator, and we've long avoided the risk of trying to steal 90 feet. Well, we gave you a finite amount of looks that you can have as far as pickoffs. So you gotta call that. We give you a time limit where you gotta get the pitch home. So we've created now an area where it's like, hey, remember what this game looked like? Remember how it used to feel when you watched the athleticism unfold on a baseball diamond instead of just waiting for the offense to occur? It was being created. That's what these dudes are. That's who they are. And that's what I want. That's why I love to see Bobby Witt Jr. get paid. Why? Because we're not waiting for him to just hit 40 for 3 straight years and be okay with his 250. We're paying an athlete. And now guys coming up in the game will want to be athletes because athletes get paid. Baseball players get paid.
It's a good pick. Big time Bobby Witt guy. We should get him back on the podcast this year. We haven't had him on.
He finds out he's an MVP pick. I mean, he'll be.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you do the media tour?
I agree. I 100% agree. So that's all the awards picks. How much time do you have left, Dallas?
Oh, we're good. I got like a half hour, 45.
All right. So we're just going to go through division winners and wild card. We can kind of do that quick.
Yeah.
AL East. Start with the AL East champions. Jay, hey, who you got?
I'm going Orioles.
Okay.
I think they are the most talented team. Not breaking any news there. I think they are. I know I've seen projections that have the Yankees as the most likely team to win the division. I think they are in a very perilous position right now, and certainly don't have the depth to withstand some injuries like the Orioles seem to. I think they're going to get significant steps forward, not only from Adley, your MVP pick, but also Gunnar and Grayson Rodriguez, etc. I do want to shout out quickly, though, that basically, regardless of what site you choose to use or what odds you look at, I think the Rays are tremendously undervalued as a division pick this year. And I know it seems like it's setting up as a transition year for the Rays, but most projection systems have them within 3 or 4 wins of the top of the division, and still like plus 400, plus 500, plus 600 to win the division. That to me is crazy. But to win the division, I will take the Orioles.
I also took the Orioles.
I also took the Orioles.
Oh, look at that.
And the Rays actually, Jay Hay, were the waffle team for me. But because of the injuries that they've sustained on the mound, and because there are some holes in the starting rotation, when you get those guys back, because my fucking guy, the lefty, Shea McClanahan, punching out Mahanahan, is not going to be back until 25. And Jeffrey Springs, I believe, is going to be back late August. I think that's the goal. But what do you got? You got Rasmussen, Baz. These guys are on the mend. They're coming back. But what does that look like? You know, how do they rebound? So what is a strength, or has long been a strength for the Rays? I'm not saying it's now a weakness, but that's it. It gives me pause. So, and for a lot of the reasons you mentioned, I roll with the Orioles, even though they're light Felix Bautista. You're going to have, what do you got? You got Kimbrel, you got Cano back there, Ballman, Danny Coulomb, shout out Red Raider, get your guns up. Red Raider, Danny Coulomb, get your guns up. Yeah, those.
Jay?
I was just going to say, like, I think everything you're saying is correct. I think that's the reason why they don't win the division. I still think the Rays are going to finish second in the AL East, though. Like, wow. I think they are going to weather that for the most part. And I think most of the criticisms that you could level at the Rays in terms of, they've got some depth issues here, they've got some injury issues here. Like, I don't love what's going on with the Blue Jays roster, and I've elaborated on that in previous offseason podcasts. And the Yankees, their issues are well documented. I think those teams are just as fraught as the Rays, and the Rays have like a 15-year track record of finding getting the absolute most out of their roster, and getting more contributions from more places than we ever anticipate. And it seems like that's going to be the case this year, even if key contributors are missing.
They just sent their best reliever from last year. He's going to start the year in AAA. The guy who appeared in more games than anybody out of the bullpen for him will be in AAA to start the season. So
I was actually going to throw in the group text. I was like, I have a team that I feel like I'm leaving out of the postseason picture that you guys are going to have making the playoffs. And now I'm not so confident. Now I'm not so confident that we won't be on the same page here. Anyways, the AL Central champions will be the Minnesota Twins.
Agreed.
Jay?
That's too bad.
Oh, the guards. You get the guards?
Oh,
do you believe in Stephen Vogt?
We believe. A vote for Vogt. I am picking the Guardians.
Wow.
I understand that every projection system and every betting site and every single thing you could possibly look at points you in the direction of the Minnesota Twins.
Mm-hmm.
Those are great reasons to pick the Twins for sure. And they won the division last year. These are all very compelling. I'm going to go more gut on this one. I just don't think the Twins are that much better than some of the other teams in the division. I don't think they're that much better than the Guardians. I don't think they're that much better than the Tigers. I think their superiority rests on some stuff that makes me a little bit uneasy. And that's like things like, what season are we getting from Carlos Correa, and is he going to be on the field and healthy at the same time? What are we getting from Byron Buxton, particularly now that they expect him to play the field all the time? I know, or a lot of the time. I know everybody's very high on Royce Lewis. I'm pumping the brakes just a wee bit. I think Carlos Santana's close to toast. And they have, some question marks in some of the other spots. I love Pablo Lopez. I love Joe Ryan. I have questions in their rotation after that. Why I'm picking the Guardians, A, to be a little bit contrarian, B, to be a little bit of a homebody, but also because I legitimately believe in this rotation yet again. I think it is going to be, per inning, the second best rotation in the American League, second only to the Seattle Mariners. Yep.
What do you got? Bibby, Allen, Biebs.
I think Shane Bieber,
McWinsey.
Yep. Bieber, Allen, Beebe, McKenzie. As of right now, Carlos Carrasco is back in the rotation. Feel good story there while some of their younger guys get healthy. I'm not particularly excited about Carlos Carrasco's contributions. What I am excited about is Shane Driveline Bieber looking
Velo,
like
a couple ticks up.
Yeah, looking like really encouraging. Not only the fastball up, but supposedly the vertical break on the curveball is also back to like 2020-ish levels. I saw that video. I watched the scouting report. That's official stuff right there.
Snap Dragon. Shout out Padre Biebs. I'll be seeing Padre Biebs in Oakland. Padre and Madre Biebs.
McKenzie gave them basically nothing last year. I think almost anything would be an improvement on that. And I have hopes for, if not a return to all-star form, then something close to that. I think Tanner Beebe is on the very, very short list for breakout pitchers of the 2024 season. I think he is going to very seriously garner either an all-star berth or down ballot Cy Young votes. I'm very high on what Beebe's bringing this season. And I just think the Guardians have a track record of getting so much out of their rotation that I'm confident that part is in place. They are working in a lot of new names offensively, but my concern about working in new names is mitigated by the fact that the names that they are replacing were largely bad. Like, Tyler Freeman's being worked in center field. He's replacing Miles Straw, who was garbage for 2 seasons.
No homers
for the Guardians.
Are you going to hit the ball out of the ballpark? Are you going to be able to score runs? Enough runs?
Probably not. I don't think hitting home runs is going to be a huge part of their game. But they were talking, the hitting coach, Valleca, and the team were talking a big game in spring training about prioritizing hard contact over putting the ball in play, in a reversal from how they have operated in previous seasons, because they know, I think, internally that they have maxed out where they can go with that, and that they fundamentally need to hit the ball harder and prioritize putting the ball over the fence. So do they have those type of hitters outside of Ramirez and Naylor? I'm not totally sure, but I think the overall package is strong enough where they are going to be very competitive, and I think they're going to be just as good, if not better, than the Twins. So I'm taking the Guards.
Wow.
Didn't see that coming.
I mean, could it be classified as a bias pick? Yes, but with the backing and the research and the data, it's not a farce of a pick.
I mean, it should be viewed to some extent as a homer pick. I mean, I said that it is a little bit that, but I also think that it's not like, I don't know. I just think the Tigers and Guardians are going to be more competitive than they were where they were last season. And I think the whole thing is going to kind of shrink together. Royals as well. And I think a lot of those wins that the Twins got, that I'm not going to call them free wins, because Lord knows there's no such thing in the great game of baseball. But I think a lot of those wins that the Twins fattened up on in the 2023 season are going to be a little bit harder to come by. And we'll see. I mean, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, those divisions are, let me ask you this though.
Yeah.
Does it feel like even though there's going to be a potential crunching, does it feel like there's going to be a separation? Like, and what I mean is,
no,
these divisions, this and the Central, like both Centrals have always just felt like we're all just here. And whether we kind of aren't performing well, we all just kind of do that together over here, or we're all doing better. Like there's just never a separator.
No, I agree. I don't think anybody's winning 90 games in this division. And I think you could see, like, it would not surprise me at all if you had 4 teams scrunch between like 78 and 88 wins.
Yeah.
And you could say that about both, to your point, you can say that about both Centrals. But I'm taking the Guards.
In the AL West, you know them, you love them. They're doing it again. It's the Houston Astros. Until someone proves it, until someone can knock them off, until I see the Seattle, which, like, I was very tempted to pick the Mariners here. They're my first wild card team. What?
No, on my paper, I wrote down I've got Astros, and I've got every reason that I don't think the Seattle Mariners. Yes, same thing.
Yeah, I was very tempted to pick the Mariners to win the division, but it would just feel foolish to bet against the Astros at this point. They just show up and they do it every single year. But needless to say, I am very high on the Mariners anyway. So I think that they'll be in striking distance of Houston at the end of the season, which is why I have them as my top wild card. But yeah, there was definitely Seattle. Temptation there.
I just don't know that Seattle has enough firepower offensively. I don't know that they're going to be able to keep up with what the Houston Astros are capable of doing, because they've got fucking dudes all throughout that lineup. And I mean, it was them and the Rangers, right? That were battling it out. And I think I kind of outlined why I don't feel as strong about the Rangers lineup as I do maybe about the Astros. And it's because there's still maybe a couple of unprovens, and that could very well change. I hope it does, because if Wyatt Langford's going to be the guy that we want him to be, then that will have me planting my foot firmly in my mouth. And I'm here for that. But I think what the Astros provide is a lineup that, I don't know that they're that much deeper, but I think what you're getting with guys like Yordan, what you're getting with guys like Altuve, Kyle Tucker, like Kyle Tucker's a fucking power speed combination, dude. Don't sleep on the guy. Don't sleep on the lefty. I just, and again, if you can't definitively dethrone them, I'm going to need to see that. And I think what they've got pitching wise, I think that can carry them. So it's almost like, they got Hader, they got fucking Presley, whatever they're not going to be able to handle in the rotation, they got answers for in the bullpen.
Yeah. Jay,
to your point about Kyle Tucker, like, once you internalize that over the last 2 seasons, Kyle Tucker has basically been as valuable as Julio Rodriguez, you're like, oh, yeah,
he's good.
You're like, oh, okay. Good. Well, yeah, he might not be the superstar or as cool or whatever, but like, okay, so he's as good as their best player. I'm also taking the Astros. This is unanimous. I'm more comfortable with basically what you guys said, that the distance between the Astros offense and the Mariners offense is greater than the distance between the quality of the Mariners overall pitching staff, not just rotation, but overall staff, compared to the Astros overall staff. I think that the one thing I wanted to say, though, just to hammer home, is that, like, I think the defending champs are finishing 3rd in this division. And that doesn't sound like it's a hot take, I guess, because it sounds like maybe you guys are saying the same thing. But I think last year's ring doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter as it relates to how many wins are they going to generate this season. And if you take the halo off of them winning the World Series last year, what you're left with is, an offense that I think still has a lot of reasons for optimism that we've outlined, but a pitching staff, specifically a rotation that I get it. I just got done doubting it en route to the World Series. It is in shambles right now as it relates to a regular season workload rotation. And I just think they have the most first half of the season issues to overcome relative to these other teams. And I think that's going to put them at a deficit.
Just going back to what you said, just to put a bow on it, I wrote down, I said, it feels like Houston is the best version kind of all of them, of all of these teams that we're talking about, without being better than any of them in any one category. Like if that makes any sense at all. Like you could replay that 1,000 times because I've said it 1,000 times and it still doesn't make sense to me, but it makes sense. Like they might not be outstanding here, but they're better than you are here. And they're not there, but they're better than you are here. And it's like, well, it lines up.
I mean, of the 10 best offensive players in the AL West, the Astros have four of them.
A lot of them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like that matters at the end of the day.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. And it's great. Yeah. The Rangers have 2, maybe 3, depending on how optimistic you are on Adolis. But like the Astros are clearly ahead as it relates to that kind of stuff. So yeah, to Jared's point, until I see it.
It would just be,
and they have their own
to
Cy
pick
Young
up.
candidate as well, just to be fair, right? Like I know Verlander's on the shelf, but Framber is both
Top
a
3?
statistical option and a voting or a betting option as well. Like he's right there. In fact, I think he's more likely than every option on the Mariners except for Luis Castillo.
Yeah. Yeah, we're also like we're not that far removed from everyone sucking Christian Javier's dick as well,
Right.
For a Cy Young candidacy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And Hunter Brown was a legit prospect. You know, he had an up and down or up and then down at the very end last season, but like he's
fucking
a
nasty.
guy.
He is fucking nasty.
I mentioned I have the Mariners as a wild card team. I know you're not super high on them, Jay, but that rotation, it's just I can't.
Oh, no, it's great.
The Blue Jays. I've got the Jays.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got the Jays. And once again, to defend the crown,
Cowboy.
them Rangers are getting back in.
Cowboy.
Them Rangers are getting back in. I know people look at them as maybe a team that could miss. Maybe they've got a little bit of a World Series hangover. It's not how I feel about the Rangers. I'm not saying that they're going to be ripping and roaring into the playoffs. I've got them as my 6th seed. But yeah, the Texas Rangers are going back to October, baby. Dallas?
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. I've also got the Mariners.
Yep.
I've also got the Rangers.
Okay. No Jays.
Am I done?
Go ahead.
And I've also got the Jays.
Wow. Okay.
I don't know that there's, I mean, it was either the Jays or the Rays. And the man, it scares me. It scares me. The Rays pitching situation. Our
American League is identical. Okay. Jay, wild card teams?
Mariners, Rays, Twins.
Okay. All right. So he basically just has the Guardians and the Rays getting in.
Yeah.
No Rangers, no Jays for Jay.
No.
Yep.
Okay. National League feels pretty easy at this point. Maybe just the Central is going to be somewhat of a debate. Yeah. The NL East, everyone's got the Braves. The NL West, everyone's got the Dodgers. The NL Central, I've already revealed my pick. I'm going with the Cubs to win this division. They're not the favorites. They're not the favorite. Isn't the Cardinals the favorites to win the Central this year?
I think it depends on.
Yeah, it's like the playoff odds on Fangraphs have them as like both 40% or between like 40 and 48%, I think, to win the division. And I think most betting sites have them as very, very similarly likely.
Got it. Okay. So I have the Cubs to win the Central. Dallas, you have the Cardinals?
I have the Cardinals. I think the lineup could.
I should fucking hope so if you're going to take Ollie Marmol.
I think the Cardinals can score some runs. Yeah, I got the Cardinals.
Okay. Jay?
I'm going to go with my boy. Been with him since day one, Jared Carabas. What up, dude?
Wow. Bang, bang. Dang.
Yeah, I'm going with the Cubs. I think they are I think it's debatable who the best roster is. I just have I know they overhauled it, but I still have very real concerns about the Cardinals' rotation.
Well, they're only returning Matz and Michaelis. Those are the only two guys returning into that rotation, right?
No. I know. I said I know they overhauled it. I still have concerns.
No, yeah, for sure. I'm agreeing.
Yeah, Sonny Gray, I think, is going to be very good, but he's starting the season on the IL, so that's obviously not great. And I just think the Cubs are slightly better. I will say that I called out the Rays as being great values in the AL East if you were looking for a less likely option. I think the Brewers are being discredited to a degree that they do not deserve on the odds. I mean, I've seen them at like plus 750 and stuff like that, like fourth in the division after the Reds and such. And that's fine. They can be the fourth most likely team in the division. But this to me is still a pretty talented team and not a team that's outright punting the 2024 season. It doesn't seem so. I think the Brewers are good value, but I'm also going to take the Cubs. And just one thing on the Cubs real fast. Have you guys seen Imanaga at all this spring? I mean, his numbers and his like strikeout numbers this spring, I know it's spring, are like eye popping. And if he's like 10 or 15% better than the projection said he is or will be, or that we thought he was going to be, I mean, that's a huge deal for the Cubs. So yeah, I'm going Chicago.
Okay. Wild card teams in the.
Wait, what about the West?
I'm taking the Padres.
Wow, bold.
Yeah, bang bang. The wild card teams in the National League. I feel like the NL West. It's, you've got three teams between the Diamondbacks, the Giants, and the Padres. Does anyone have all three of those teams getting in? Dallas is considering it.
No.
Okay. I do not either. I have two of them getting in.
Yeah, and then the Phillies.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Phillies are my top wild card, followed by the Giants, followed by the Padres.
D-backs.
Yeah, D-backs.
Gone. Snake pit.
We didn't even talk about it, but they signed Jordan Montgomery last night.
Yeah.
I know Jake and I are not feeling super great about
that.
How's
that go? That's tough, huh?
I mean, our season's over. The Red Sox are mathematically eliminated.
Well, no, I mean, you're still going to know the schedule. You guys still got to play the games.
No, I don't want to.
You're going to be there.
I don't want to.
Oh, that is tough. But Jordan Montgomery, you think Jordan Montgomery can't help the Snakes?
I mean, in fairness, I did this before they signed Jordan Montgomery.
Are you calling the Diamondbacks front offices a bunch of dumb idiots for signing Jordan Montgomery just so that they can miss the playoffs?
Mike Hazen has the meatiest quads you've ever seen. He's got some ham hocks on his thighs.
How do they feel on your ears?
They're warm. I love Mike Hazen. You have the Diamondbacks making the playoffs, Dallas?
Nope.
Okay, so then shut the fuck up.
Oh no, yes, I did. I did have the Diamondbacks.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. Those are my team.
So you have the Padres out.
I do not have the Padres making the playoffs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jay?
So obviously took the Rock Show to win the division, so that pushes the Dodgers down. No, yeah, I have the Phillies, I have the Giants, and I have the Snakes. I think Gallen, Merrill, Kelly, Jordan Montgomery when he's available, and Eduardo Rodriguez when he comes back, Brandon Pfaadt, postseason hero. I mean, that to me is a legitimately hell of a rotation.
Yeah.
If they can ever all get pitching at the same time. And I don't think you're asking any individual person in that rotation to do more than they are capable of doing. I guess there's more star power on the Padres, and Machado and Tatis are great, but I think the overall depth of the Arizona lineup is as a whole just as dangerous as the Padres' individual components. And I like the the Diamondbacks rotation, and I like the Diamondbacks defense better. So I'm going to take them to eke it out. But also very high on the Giants, as we've discussed a number of times. And I have the Phillies as the top wild card.
Okay. Corbin Carroll's going 30-50.
World Series matchup with the winner. Dallas Braden.
Oh, man.
Who is your World Series matchup, and who do you have winning in how many games?
Who in how many games?
Hurry up and find that paper where you wrote down the wrong answer.
It's I think I know where Shohei's going, and
interesting.
I think I'm probably going to be maybe on the other side of that coin. Other side of the Dodgers Orioles. And I'm probably gonna go Dodgers in 5. Dodgers in 6. Dodgers in 6.
Shohei?
Well, Dallas read me pretty well. I have also selected the Dodgers and the Orioles as the 2024 World Series matchup.
Where are you going, Shohei? Where are you going? The Inner Harbor, or are you at the Ravine, pal? Chico's Ravine or the Inner Harbor? Pick one.
I think the young core delivers a championship early in its cycle.
Woo!
Wow.
And I might not have gotten there completely on the Adley MVP thing, but I'm damn close to where Jared's at. And I think Gunnar is going to not so far down that list. I also think Grayson Rodriguez and Corbin Burns are going to be a punch that both garners Cy Young votes, and exactly the type of people that you would want fronting a rotation in the postseason. So I'm going to go Orioles over Dodgers in 7.
Wow.
I'll see you in October, pal.
Yeah, you sure will.
All three of us have the Orioles making it to the World Series.
Wow, that's special.
You got the Braves.
I have the Braves.
The
Braves and the Orioles. Depending on home field, I need to know who has home field. Whoever has home field, I have that team in 6.
You're such a pussy.
I mean, that will definitively be a team at some point that we will know who that team is.
Somebody will have home field advantage.
Somebody will have home field. Whoever has home field, that team is winning the World Series.
That is an insufficient pick. I'm going to need you to attach a name to that.
I have Braves in 6 written down right here.
Oh, well, is that what you're saying to the world? It's just us right now, just us talking. What are you going to tell the world?
I think we're going to have a Kansas City Royals situation on our hands where the Orioles get there
and then can't
and
get
lose
it done.
And then come and then come back and get it done. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I think happens. I think Braves in 6 this year, but I think the Orioles get back quite quickly and get the job done.
I'm here for that because they can't they can't do that without losing to the Dodgers. And so,
yeah, they're playing the Braves.
No, I know. Well, that's in your story for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, the correct script. So, all right, that was the 2024 Baseball is Dead Predictions podcast. Wow. Long awaited.
Well done.
Long awaited. I like our picks a lot. I feel like no one embarrassed themselves this year, which is super important. Follow us on social media for Joe's picks. He's submitting them to Jake to be put on a graphic so that all of our picks can be aligned. I mean, he might just take the whole thing off the rails. Like, we don't know. We don't know what he's going to say.
Yeah. I'm genuinely interested. Genuinely interested.
Yeah. anything could happen with Joe's picks. But for the most part, we were in sync. We were, we didn't always agree, but we were kind of at least like, if we didn't have the same pick, then it's like, well, I at least considered that person. So that's good synergy, podcast synergy. It's good to have it.
I would agree.
So we will be back. Well, first and foremost, we will be doing the live stream Thursday, opening day, all day. Special guest Dallas Braden, Shohei in the house, section 10, live streaming the entire opening day. I just looked at my Ring camera. A giant gong was delivered to my house because we are doing the dong gong. Every time somebody hits a home run, we will bang the gong on the live stream. Apparently there's other music stores that are reaching out, offering up 60-inch gongs for the dong gong. I don't know how many gongs we're going to have, but it sounds like a large amount of gongs will be placed inside of the stream room. So that'll be tomorrow, Thursday, and then we will play the weekend of games and be right back here on Monday with Joseph for the next episode of Baseball's Dad. Dallas, you have a final thought? You look like you're very much lost in thought right now.
No, it's a lot of gongs. You're
captivated by the dong gong.
Yeah, you're a big dong gong guy, and
yeah,
I'm excited that you're about to get your fill of dong.
Yeah,
I'm excited. It's fucking opening day eve for the parents listening to this episode. The answer is yes. The answer is always yes. Take that screaming little fucker or those screaming little fuckers out of school, feed them whatever they would like in the morning, and put on baseball all damn day. All damn day. Enjoy it. Celebrate it. Make it a part of your DNA if it's not already. I got to assume if you're spending 2 hours 3 times a week with us, you probably like it. So just continue that. Continue to enjoy that.
Yeah, because whose favorite pastime is it?
America!
That's right, Dallas. It's America's favorite pastime.
That's right.
Shohei, final thoughts?
That was really fun. I love the predictions podcast. Love that we got 2 jersey bets out of it. And just
can't wait.
And just generally speaking, I mean, I'm very excited about tomorrow and coming to hang and do the stream. But more broadly, I am as excited about the 2024 baseball season and what we have in store for us as I have been about any baseball season in a very, very long time, perhaps ever. So, I hope the listeners will come along and are just as excited as I am.
Yeah.
I like to yank on him.
Yeah. We're all excited. We're all excited, Dallas.
Jake, I got to ask you though. Jared's going to have his hand and face full of dong. It appears. What's the weather going to be like on opening day out there with you? I'm attracted to a lot of different guys.
Yeah, glad you asked, Dallas. I'm looking at it right here. It says 100% chance of gong. So that's what we got for the forecast.
Yeah.
Pour some more gong on me in the name.
Dong gong, baby. The dong gong. Catch it live on the YouTube channel. Subscribe. Get in the chat. We'll be dong gonging all day, all night. We'll catch you there.
We dong or we dong.